The 6th canonical story ARK DLC and long-awaited ARK Mobile revamp set for June 2024, according to the slimy snails. But don't be fooled. Hello survivors, if you saw my last video, you'll remember my coverage of the recent presentation that Snail Games gave regarding ARK and their roadmap taking them up to 2029. If you haven't seen that, check it out for all the details. But I hadn't realised there was some documentation of the presentation available on Snail's website, and it had a particular slide that wasn't shown during the presentation, so we're going to take a look at that today. As always survivors, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest ARK news. Oh, and don't forget to check out my new channel, GP 2.0, linked in the description below. So in the Snail documentation, a look into the future, there was a slide in the appendix that shows Snail Games' content roadmap. And it contains some interesting but very questionable items. And the whole thing is pretty hilarious, to be honest. And don't forget, this presentation is aimed at investors, so it's got to be big and promising, right? Just not necessarily what we'll actually get when the time comes. Besides ARK 2 still being listed as late 2024, which we covered in yesterday's video, this roadmap shows that the mobile revamp for ARK Survival Evolved is now set for June 2024 after it got delayed earlier this year. In addition to that, there's the 6th canonical story expansion pack set to come to ARK Survival Ascended the same month. Now take all of this with a pinch of salt, because this is coming from Snail Games and not from Wildcard. And I don't know if you've noticed, but the dots never seem to line up between what Snail says and what Wildcard says, and vice versa. So that should be one of your warning signs. But firstly, on this confidential slide that they've made public, I mean, surely the classification should be changed when documents go public, right? The ARK DLC 6 that's listed here uses a Fyodor logo, not the ARK Ascended logo. That in itself doesn't make any sense. Plus the fact Fyodor wasn't even a canonical story expansion pack anyway. They've just stuffed any ARK logo there instead of using a logo that actually represents what is being shown. And it doesn't represent it being a modded map, because it's referred to as a canonical story expansion. The ARK Mobile logo is a similar situation because the ARK 2.0 logo was already used for ARK Mobile. It's not representing the revamp version. It's all just been thrown together with very little thought. We've also heard nothing from Wildcard regarding ARK Mobile, nor have we heard anything about it from Grove Street Games, who supposedly are the ones that will be developing it. So that's the current date for mobile, but hold that thought with bated breath. June is quite a while off. Now remember I said what Snail says never lines up with what Wildcard says? Well, this is a prime example. Snail promotes a new ASA DLC in June 2024, whereas Wildcard's ASA roadmap shows nothing in June, which falls between the Center and Aberration. Considering they are scheduling DLC releases pretty much every 2 months, it's unlikely anything would be squeezed out in June. However, in November, Wildcard's roadmap shows ARK Survival Ascended Surprise, of which Jeremy Stieglitz said that it is gameplay related, right about the time he also said that new DLCs will come after the canonical story DLCs have all released. Therefore after May 2025, which makes me unsure about the November surprise. There is a big difference between June and November. Some people have wondered whether the November surprise is in fact meant to be ARK 2, but it's promoted as an ARK Ascended surprise, so let's rule that one out. I suspect it is the next canonical story DLC coming in November, not June, and in some ways it does make sense because November is after Extinction, which is highly suspected to be where the story takes place in the new DLC. So before anyone gets excited, especially the mobile players who have been stuck with only the island map and hackers for the last few years, just remember this documentation was being presented to investors, making big promises of what is to come in the years ahead. And we know full well that these roadmaps rarely ever hit their targets. So as I say, take all of this with a pinch of salt. It is what Snail Games is saying, so it is from official sources, but is it from a reliable source? Well, I wouldn't say Snail Games are reliable. Even Wildcard aren't necessarily always reliable, but this is what it is at the moment from Snail Games. You can make of it whatever you want. But that is the latest from the presentation. I wanted to make sure I covered that bit as I did miss it in my last video. But that's all the news for today, survivors. Don't forget Winter Wonderland is starting tomorrow along with Survival of the Fittest dropping, and well, we don't know about cryopods yet. Thanks for watching, survivors. Make sure to subscribe to keep up with all the latest ARK news.